And let me share my screen. Okay, fine. So for example, if I want to take backups on all the databases on Sunday night 12 o'clock, I cannot log in at Sunday night 12 o'clock, and I cannot, even though if I logged in, or else if anyone is there in the shift, but it will be very difficult to take the backups manually on all the database. Simply if you configure the job, okay, let me mute you all. Simply if you configure the job, okay, automatically this job will iterate at night 12 o'clock on Sunday, any day, whatever day, it depends upon your wish. Okay, some people will go for a backups on Saturday, someone will go for a Monday or Sunday, or someone they will take the backups daily. So it depends upon their requirement. Again, we are going to discuss this point in the backup concept. Okay, right. So once you just create any job, and if you schedule that job, automatically that job is going to run, and it is going to take the backups on all the system databases, user databases as well. Okay, so like this backups, not only for backups, we have a lot of manual activities, okay, where we can achieve with the help of the automation and all. Okay, right, it will store all the data about the jobs and alerts, etc. If it is corrupt, not an issue, your SQL server will be up and running, your SQL server will start. You cannot create any jobs, that's it. If your MSDB is corrupted, that's why I told MSDB is an optional system database. Optional means don't think like without MSDB you cannot manage. But of course, yes, your SQL server will be up and running even though if your MSDB is corrupted. You cannot create the jobs and jobs are not going to work properly. That's it. Remaining all things will work fine. Okay, so even though your MSDB is corrupted, your SQL server will be up and running. Right, SSIS packages information also will be there in the will be stored in the MSDB, and log shipping, backups and restores information will be stored in the MSDB. I'll show you while discussing about the log shipping and how to take the backups and all the backup restore concept. There will be some supported tables which will be there in the MSDB. I'll show you how to access those tables and all. Okay, using MSDB. So MSDB is an optional system database which will help you to create and schedule the jobs maintenance plans as well. And SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services packages information will be stored in the MSDB as well. Even though if your MSDB is corrupted, you can start your SQL Server, that is not an issue. Next thing is very important thing, like how master is important, TempDB is also important. Master is very crucial database, right? In the same way, your TempDB is also very crucial database. Temp, the name itself is saying temp. So temp means temporary objects are going to be created in the master data, sorry, in the temp database. Then you can ask what is the dependency on temporary database for SQL Server. If you don't have TempDB, your SQL Server will not start. If you don't have TempDB, your SQL Server will not start. Like how it will work means how RAM will work for a laptop. For laptop, if the laptop wants to start, you should have RAM, right? How RAM will work for a laptop, in the same way, TempDB will work to start your SQL Server, to manage your SQL Server. TempDB will work to start and manage your SQL Server. Temp means temporary database. Okay. So what and all things will be stored in the TempDB? All the users information. Say for example, if users wants to access any queries, if users wants to run any queries, all the user tables, okay, will be copied to the temp database. I'll tell you how it will work. Okay. So simply all the users will store their data in the TempDB temporary purpose, right? It is better to maintain a separate drive. Why? Because this is a friendly database for all the users. Say for example, I have 10 people in the meeting now. I have 10 people in the meeting now. 10 people are executing 10 different queries in the SQL server. On this SQL server, some people are running insert queries, some people are running select queries, some people are running update queries, and some people are running delete queries. All people are, okay, running some queries. So immediately what happened, say for example, if anyone is trying to access this employee table, okay, right click, select top 1000 rows. If I run this query, automatically you can see how many rows, 8 rows, right? So anyone knows what exactly happened in the background once I run select query? Anyone is having any idea what will happen, how the results are coming from the table? Okay, how it is going to work in the back end, Remember one thing, whenever you run any query, select query, insert query, update query, delete query, immediately the table is going to copy to the temp database. Don't think you are getting the results from the employee database, employee table. Actually you are getting results from the employee table only, but don't think you are getting results from the employee database. Okay, whenever you run select star from employee name, employee table, whenever you run select star from employee, immediately the table is going to copy to the temp database. Whenever you run any insert query, it will copy to temp database. That the whole table itself will copy to the temp database. The whole table itself will copy to the temp database first. Then actually you are getting these results from the temporary, from the temp db. You are getting all these records from the temp db. Then you can ask, okay, why I have to select okay, employee database here? I can simply select temp db and I can access the table, right? No. Where is the table? Actually it is there in the employee database, right? Once you run select query, then only it will copy to the temp db, right? Temp db, it will not exist automatically. All the tables will be there in the respective databases only. Once you run select or insert or update or delete query, then it will start copying the tables to the temp db, right? You can represent, see for example, if you see here, master database is selected, but whenever I run this query, I got the result. How I got the results, can anyone tell me? Actually this table is not there in the master database. If you open this table, either you have to select the database name employee database here, or else you can use database name. But I don't see both options here. Master is selected, but I can see the results. If you go and open master database, you don't see any tables. Okay, there is no tables here. But how I got these results?
by using the selector.
Select query, okay. Select query, okay, fine. But whenever I run select query, can I get the details?
Select employee ID you had given.
Okay, select employee ID I have given, so that's why. See, here usually I have to select employee database, then only I'll get the employee table results. But here it was different database, but still I can see the employee records. How it is possible? You got my question right, Madhavi? Money? Earlier we
It
have
was
this.
there,
Back
employee database dot dbo database. Like,
Okay,
backup.
backups. What backups? Okay, so no backups, nothing. Okay, so here you can represent the table like this also. Okay,
yes.
you can represent a table like this also. No need to select the database name here. Sometimes you can see table names like this. The first part is database name, second part is schema name, third part is table name. Remember, very important, you can represent a table like this also. Database name dot schema name dot table name. Here my database name is employee, schema name is default schema DBO, and my table name is employee table. So if you give like this also without changing the database, here you can get the results, right? So whenever you run the select query or any query, that particular object will be moved to the tempdb. Without tempdb you cannot process the data. Tempdb will play a crucial role in processing the data. SQL server is nothing but store the data, process the data, and retrieve the data. Tempdb will play a crucial role in processing and retrieving the data. So without tempdb you cannot start the SQL server. Okay, why? Because your SQL server will not start. Your SQL server will not start. Why? Because all the temporary objects will be stored in the tempdb. So if the tempdb is not, if the RAM is not there to the Windows machine laptop, how you can start your laptop? In the same way, if the tempdb is not there to process the data, your SQL server will not start. So tempdb is very important. It will play a very crucial role in processing the data and in retrieving the data and all. We cannot take the tempdb backup. Why we cannot take the tempdb backup means it will contain unsorted data. TempDB will contain unsorted data. Okay, so the data will not be in sorted order in the TempDB. So that's why if the data is not in sorted order, you cannot take the backup. So that's why you cannot take the backup of TempDB. Very important thing. Sometimes they will ask you how to take the backup, okay, of a TempDB, what query you have to run to take the backup, okay, on TempDB and all. Remember, that is very, very, very important point. TempDB, you cannot take the backup. For all other system databases, master, model, MSDB, you can take the backup, but on TempDB, you cannot take any type of backup. Any type of backup on any version of the SQL Server. They will again ask you to confuse you. Okay, in SQL Server 2019, can I take the TempDB backup? Just to confuse you. Nothing. It's not possible in any version. Even the old version, even though it is a new version also, it is not at all possible to take the TempDB backup. Why? Because unsorted data will be there in the TempDB. Okay, the data is going to be processed, right? So will be, it is not possible to take the backup of TempDB. Temporary tables will be stored in the TempDB, and hash temp table, usually if you see hash in front of any table, that is a local temp table. And if you see double hash, and if you see double hash and all, it will be a global temp table. Table variables, cursors, work tables, row versioning, indexing, everything will be done in the temp DB only. When SQL, very important thing, when SQL Server restarts, a new temp database will be created. If you restart your SQL Server, the only system database that is going to create automatically is your TempDB. Master database will be same, model will be same, MSDB will be same, but when you restart your SQL Server, one more new TempDB is going to be created. One more one more means, don't think like two TempDBs. The old one will be deleted, and again new TempDB will be created. So whenever you restart your SQL Server, simply the whole, like, if you restart your laptop, everything will be erased in the RAM, right? In the same way, whenever you restart your SQL Server, everything will be cleared from the TempDB, and a fresh TempDB will be created. So it is very important. If TempDB is corrupted, your SQL Server will be down. Why? Because if there is no RAM, there is no machine, right? In the same way, if there is no TempDB, okay, your SQL Server will not be up and running. Okay, index rebuilding, index reorganization, sorting of data will be done in the TempDB, right? So while discussing this model database, I just asked you one important question. If my model is corrupted, can I start my SQL Server or not? So anything relation is there for TempDB and model database? Can anyone tell me? Any relation is there between model and TempDB? Why, if my model is corrupted, why I cannot start the SQL Server? Just try it. Every time whenever you restart the SQL Server, a new TempDB is created. Okay, that is one important point. If model is corrupted, you cannot start the SQL Server. That is the second important point. So if my model is corrupted, can I start my SQL Server or not? You have to mix these 2 points for the answer. There is a logic in these 2 points. If my model is corrupted, just tell me yes or no. I have already told you the answer. Okay, if my model is corrupted, can I start my SQL Server or not? Just yes or no.
Sir, if model DB is corrupted, we are unable to create the new database.
Okay.
So TempDB will not be created.
Okay.
That's why the SQL will not start. Server
Excellent.
will not start.
Excellent. Super. Okay. Super. Okay. So that's it. The point, the same points what I told Saujanya also linked those 2 points. Okay. So if my model is corrupted, I cannot start the SQL Server. Why I cannot start the SQL Server? Why? Because whenever you start the SQL Server, first master database will come online, right? The next database which will come online is model database. Once master comes online, model database will come online. Okay, then your TempDB will be created, right? So your TempDB will be created based on your model database template. If model database is not online, if model database is corrupted, how a TempDB will be created? If TempDB is not going to create, how a SQL Server will start? Got it? Clear? Now again I am asking, if my model is corrupted, can I start my SQL Server or not?
No, we can't start.
Oh, okay. So no, we cannot start the SQL server. Why? Because your TempDB will be created based on the model database template. If your model database is not online or corrupted, you cannot create TempDB. If the TempDB is not created, you cannot start the SQL server. Then whenever you start the SQL server, they will ask you whenever you start the SQL server, which database will comes to online first. Which database will comes to online first?
Master database.
Master
After master,
Model data.
model database.
after model,
Template.
after TempDB,
Mass DB like
MSDB, after MSDB,
Visa.
after MSDB.
That's all.
Resource database.
Resource database is hidden database. No, you can't able to.
Okay, fine. So, right, after MSDB, your user databases will be online. Okay, so you can ask what is the proof, sir? You are saying something, something, something which we cannot understand. What is the proof for that? There is a proof also. Go to management, open the error log. There you can see which database is started. How to open the error log and all. Go to management, go to SQL Server logs. There open the current error log. Just open this current error log. How to read this error log? You have to read it from the bottom to top. Okay, from bottom to top, not top to bottom. This is the old activity. Whenever you start the SQL server, it was started with this activity. This is the first activity, then next activity, then next activity, like this it was. Okay, it will follow. Right, if you see here, first what it was detected. Okay, it was detected the Microsoft SQL server version and edition. Okay, Microsoft SQL server 2012, what is the version, and you can see the edition. Right, then all rights reserved. Right, and it allocated a process ID 1032. Then it was checked which box it is using, virtual box or physical box. Then it was like detected the box. Then what is the authentication mode? Windows authentication. Then if you see here, error log, and if you see here, master database registry startup parameters. If you see here, master database data file, and if you go down, so if you see the complete entry here, okay, see here, registry startup parameters are started, master database data file, error log file, master database log file. So your master database has been successfully started. Okay, then if you see here, go up, up. If you see here, starting up master database, then go up. Okay, if you go up like this, you can see model will be started. Okay, after that somewhere it will be written. Sometimes you can see times both are it will show the same timings here. Okay, so that's why entries may be different, but you can see here somewhere it will be there. Model started like that, master started. Mm, 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 mm. Hmm. But actually this entry, okay, even though it is showing like this, the timing should be same. Usually your after master actually resource database will start, but again we haven't discussed anything about resource database, right? So after master, your resource database will start. We'll discuss about the resource database. Then after master, after resource database, your model only will start. Okay, if you see the timings and all same time it will show, it will be like the entries will be different. That's it. Okay, at the same time all will comes online. Like after model, then TempDB came online. Okay, so don't think like if you see here MSDB and all is showing before. If you let me open my local management studio. Okay, local management studio, I'll show you clearly there. Sometimes the entries will be different, but actually the logic is first master will start, then only your model will start, then your like what we can say, after master resource will start, then after that model will start, then your TempDB, then your MSDB. Okay, go to management, go to SQL Server logs, go to current log. There if you see, okay, go down. If you go down there, you can see the, okay. So this is Lenovo iPad, IdeaPad. Okay, starting master database. If you see here, okay, then CheckDB will run on each database, each system database, right? And then resource database, starting resource database. Then if you see here, starting model database, okay, then clearing the TempDB. So I told you, right, what is the proof? A new TempDB will be created. What is the proof for that? If you see here, clearing the TempDB. For any system database, did you see that option, clearing master database, clearing model database? Nothing. Okay, only for TempDB you can see clearing the TempDB. So a new TempDB will be created. Then finally starting the, once it was cleared, then it will start the TempDB. then your MSDB will see here, then MSDB started, then all your user databases will be started. Okay, so this is the hierarchy. First master, then resource database, then your model database, then your tempdb, then your MSDB, then all your user databases are going to start. Okay, that is the hierarchy. Okay, very important. Sometimes they are going to ask in the interviews and all. Right, so what is this resource database? Master and resource databases both are husband and wife. Master database and resource database both are husband and wife, will act as a husband and wife. Don't think like they are husband and wife. They will act as a husband and wife. Please mute. Okay, fine. Okay, they will act as a husband and wife. So without master, there is no resource database. Without resource, there is no master database. Okay, what will be stored in the resource database? What and all stuff is going to store in the master database? The same things are going to store in the resource database. In the master database, the logical paths will be stored, whereas the same thing will be stored in the resource database physically. The same thing what and all storing in the master database, the same thing will be stored in the resource database. In the master database, it will store it in the logical way, whereas in the physical, in the resource database, it will store in the physical way. Okay, resource database will store all the sys objects physically. Before SQL Server 2005, there is no resource database concept. It was introduced from SQL Server 2005 onwards. In SQL Server 2005, we cannot find resource database file. So you can ask, what is the proof? Where is the proof to, like, if you want to see the resource database, for every database there will be data files and log files, right? Okay, for every database there will be data files and log files. For resource database, of course, you cannot see the resource database in the management studio. It will be hidden mode. Always the resource database will be in hidden mode. But where I can see the resource database data files and log files, if you open instance root directory, go to instance root directory. Okay, go to your MSSQL root directory, MSSQL folder, bin folder. If you go down, you can see here, MS SQL system resource is the data file, and this is the data file, and this is the log file. How to identify the differentiate between data file and log file? How you are going to identify which is data file and which is log file? How to differentiate data file and log file? By just looking the file names.
NDF
Now this is data file or log file, the one which I have selected.
data file.
Okay, how to say whether it is a data file or log file? How to identify? Okay,
Showing the
showing
Is
that,
of the dot.
showing that icon, or
I
suggestion. Okay,
so
so,
showing like here database primary data file.
so that is suggestion. Okay, if you see here, you can say easily, you can identify easily. If you see a table kind of thing on a database, that is a data file. If you see a notepad kind of thing on a database, that is a log file. By just looking these two icons, by just looking these two icons, you can differentiate. Table means data file will be there. If you see here table icon, that means that is this is a data file. And if you see here a small notepad kind of thing, okay, small paper kind of thing, this is your log file. In that way you can easily identify. So resource database data file names will be MS SQL system resource, okay, and MS SQL system resource. See, for example, you cannot see, okay, a name, a file with the same name, right? You cannot see a file with the same name in the same location. But if you see here, MS SQL system resource, MS SQL system resource, how it was existed with the same name? Why? Because here the extensions are different. This is .mdf, this is .ldf. So there is no issue. Okay, when the extensions are different, there is no issues and all, right? So this is the proof. If I want to delete this, you cannot delete it. Okay, see, I'm trying to delete it. What it is saying, it is in use. The action can't be completed because the file is open in SQL Server. But where it is in SQL Server, you cannot see the system database, resource database anywhere. You can only see master model, MSDB, tempdb, but it is in use. And if you see here, you can see the files. Okay, if you are trying to delete also, it is throwing the error. And if you see here, the modified time is 2/10/2012 9 p.m. and all. Okay, so in this way you can easily identify whether this resource database is in use or not. So it is very important. Resource database will store all the data which master is, what and all master is storing. The same data will be stored in the resource database physically. In the master it will store logically, but in the resource database it will store physically. Very important system database. After master, usually your resource database will start. Before SQL Server 2005, like in the SQL Server 2000 version, there is no resource database. From SQL Server 2005 onwards, Microsoft introduced this resource database. But in the SQL Server 2005, that resource database files will be stored in a different location. From SQL Server 2008 onwards, it will be stored in the database in the root directory bin and folder. Okay, it will be stored in the root directory. This is root directory, right? Instance root directory. This is instance root directory. If you go inside MS SQL folder, if you go inside, bin and folder will be there. If you open this bin and folder, if you go down there, you can see your resource database data files and a log file. In this way, you can easily identify the resource database data files and log files. Okay, how to take the backup on resource database? Can we take the backup on resource database? If yes, how? Okay, I'll tell you the answer in the backup concept. Okay, backup and restore classes. We are going to discuss the same point. Right, clear? Any issues, any doubts? The system databases. So I gave you one assignment, open the model database, a connection from the model database, and try to create a new database. That is one assignment. And second assignment is, for every version, SQL Server will release a sample databases. Sample database means a template database. That's it. Some sample tables will be there. Okay, and it will be stored in the sample database. So for SQL Server 2005, 8, 8, R2 and all, AdventureWorks is a sample database. So what are the sample databases are there from SQL Server 2017? What are the SQL Server sample databases are there from SQL Server 2017? That is one more assignment. Check in the Google sample databases in SQL Server from 2017. Okay, you have to check like that. Then you will get some names. What are the sample databases? The common sample databases are AdventureWorks. AdventureWorks is a sample database. There you can download the AdventureWorks from the Google and you can restore it in the SQL Server. Nothing will be there. Sample tables will be there. Just some realistic tables will be there. Okay. So that is the sample database for SQL Server 2005. Okay. And Pubs, Northwind. These are the different sample databases. Okay. Apart from that, we still have some different sample databases in the new versions of the SQL Server. What sample databases are there in the new versions of the SQL Server? Okay, that is the next question. So any questions, any doubts in today's class? Is everything clear? Shiva ready? Is it fine?
Fine, sir. Yep.
Right. Okay, I'll just discuss about this point. Okay. After that, I'll close the session for today. We have already discussed this one. Right. We'll discuss about. So every object will have object ID. Every object will have object ID in SQL Server. Right. Table will have table IDs. Okay. Right. Databases will have database IDs. Files will have file IDs. Okay. Logins will have SIDs. So every object will have IDs. IDs are very important. By using IDs, we can track it. In the same way, for system databases also, we have IDs. Okay. For master database ID is 1. After that, the TempDB is very crucial database, right? The TempDB ID is 2. Then the model database ID is 3 and MSDB ID is 4. Resource database, there is no specific proof for this, but there is a myth that resource database ID is 32,767, which is the last database. Got it? So how to check the database IDs and all? How to check the database IDs? There is a query for that. What is that query? SP underscore, let me clear this. SP underscore help DB will help you to find out the database IDs. 150%. The query is SP underscore help DB. If you run it, then you can see all the databases sizes, IDs, when it was created, by whom it was created, What is the status of the database? Whether it is online, offline, read-only mode, emergency mode, suspected mode. Okay, you can see the status of the database, and you can see all other options of the database by using SP_help_db query. Here, if you see DB IDs, if you see master database ID is 1, and next if you see tempdb ID is 2, and next if you see model database ID is 3, and next if you see MSDB ID is 4, and next if you see resource database ID will not, you cannot see. That's why, that's what I told. Okay, you cannot see the resource database ID in the management studio, but there is a myth as per some Microsoft documents. Maybe resource database ID can be 32,767, but there is no proof for that. Then all your data user database IDs will start from the 5. All your user database IDs will start from 5. And if you see sales database ID is 5 and employee database ID is 6, which database you created first, usually it will go in a serial order. If I create one more user database, 7 will come, 8 will come, like that. But if you see here, there is a difference in starting of the databases. First master will start, then resource will start, then your model will start, then your tempdb will start, then msdb will start. That is the starting up of the databases. But when compared to IDs, first master ID is 1, then after that tempdb ID is 2, after that tempdb ID is 2. Okay, then your model database ID is 3, then msdb ID is 4. So like that you can easily remember. Okay, if you want to remember, there is a shortcut. Of course, master, you know, right? Master is very important. Without master there is no SQL server, right? So master database ID is 1, so no issues in that, right? Fine. So then after that, model and msdb, okay, both are both come in a serial order, 3 and 4. Okay, so msdb, in msdb there are 4 characters, right? msdb, so automatically msdb ID will be 4. Once msdb ID is 4, msdb and model db in serial order, right? So msdb should be 3. Final database, which is the remaining database, is tempdb, so tempdb ID will be 2. In this way you can remember if you are going to confuse. Okay, in this way you can remember master db is 1, tempdb is 2, and your model db is 3, and msdb is 4. And resource database we have an ID, okay, 32,767. Again, there is no proof for that. Okay, that's it for today. In the next class I'll ask all these points. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'm going to close the session for today. Again, remember, serial order is different. Starting up the databases are different. Okay. Startup startup way is like startup order is master first, then your model, then your tempdb, then your msdb or master, then resource database. Don't forget. Okay, master and resource database, wife and husband, right? Don't forget. Okay, master is first and resource database is next, and your model database, then tempdb, then your msdb. That is the starting up of the databases. Whereas IDs, master first, tempdb second, model third, msdb fourth, and resource database is 32,767. Don't forget. You may confuse between these two IDs and starting up of the databases. Okay, fine. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, I will close the session for today. We'll connect in tomorrow's session. We have already discussed. Okay. SQL Set 2000 and yeah, in the SQL Set 2000, the sample databases are Pubs and Northwind. From SQL Set 2005, 2008, 8R2, 2012, AdventureWorks is the sample database. What is the sample database of SQL Set 2016, 17, and 19? Okay. Tomorrow we'll discuss about somewhat deep we are going to do. We are going to discuss in tomorrow session file groups, files, extents, pages. We are going to discuss about the about these topics in the next class, means in the tomorrow's class. Okay. After that, we'll go for patchings. In the next weekend, we'll go for patchings. How to patch a SQL server and all. What are the precautions we have to take? Okay. Fine. That's it for today. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, if anyone is facing any issues in configuring virtual machines and all, just let me know. If nothing is there, I'll close the session for today. Madhvi, are you able to copy the file?
I will try now, sir.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay.
I am connected now in my laptop. So when
Sorry.
Now I can able to open Zoom in my laptop.
Laptop,
So when
let me stop sharing. Okay, you can start sharing. Okay, let me give you the permissions. Okay, Mani, can you help him? He is getting CRED SSP error while connecting to the server remotely. Just help him. Okay,
Okay. Can I
Anil.
tell now or later?
Yeah, you can tell now. Yeah, he is going to share the screen.
Okay.
You are connected using mobile hotspot.
myself,
Uh,
not Wi-Fi only.
Wi-Fi in
Actually,
the.
maybe
Okay.
IP4 address.
Okay, fine. 169.254.114.33. Okay, fine. The meeting is going to close now. Okay, let me reopen the meeting again. Okay, it is going to close now. It is showing less than 1 minute. Let me reopen the meeting again.